Hi guys, welcome to a new video. In this video, we're making this Bubu kaftan that has a drawstring by the side. This Bubu can be worn in 3 to 4 different ways. So if this is something you're interested in, please keep watching. Also, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll be notified whenever I make a new post. Thank you very much. For this style, I'll be using about 2 yards of fabric. And for the length of this Bubu dress, I decided to use the length of the Ankara, which is about maybe 45 inches. Now for the widest of this dress, I decided to make it wide enough because this is going to be a cut together sleeve. So you can measure from your center back to where you want your sleeve to be and use it as a yardstick. So after cutting, you're going to cut another one to serve as the front or the back. So you need about 2 pieces. One is going to be the front, the other will be the back. Give it a good press so it will be flat. The first step is to take my neck width. I used 3.5 inches and then 1.5 inch for the depth. So I'll give it a curve to get my neckline. The next step is to mark from my center back to where I want my arm to be. I went down by 1.5 inch for my shoulder slope. Now I'm getting a ruler to connect to the point like so. Now I'm going to come down to my sleeve length. I'm using 15 inches because this is going to be a puff, like a gathered puff sleeve. I'll connect the points like so. Now from my shoulder line, I'll be going down to my hip measurement. I'll mark the points there. And I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4. I'll go ahead to add my allowance and ease. You can make this as wide as you want, and since this is going to have drawstrings, I advise you to make it a little bit wider than you usually would. So I'm marking the exact same thing across to get my line straight, just like you see me doing. I'll connect the point to my sleeve line like so, and then I'll get my arm curve, just like you see me doing. And that's all for this style. Go ahead and cut it out. After doing that, I'll remove the back piece to reveal the front piece because the only difference is the neckline. For the front piece, I wanted a simple v-neck line, so I just came down to the length I want my v-neck to be. I connected it to the exact neck width as the back, which is 3.5 inches, and then I cut it out. The next step is cut like a neck interface for both the front and the back. So you just place a tiny bit of fabric on the neckline and then you trace it exactly how it is. And you're getting something like this. I'll repeat the same process for the back piece. I'll place the back neckline on a fabric. I'll trace it out. And this is what you'll have by the time you are done. I'll iron on interfacing on them because this fabric is very lightweight. After I was done, the next thing to do is to use this to turn the neckline, just like so. So you place them right side facing each other. Go ahead to pin the middle down to hold it down. And then you go to your machine and sew by 1/2 inch. You can also hem the edges, so this will be neat. I also get the front piece. Place the interface right side facing each other. You pin this down so it will be easy to work with. Go to your machine, sew it down by 1/2 inch round. Also hem the edges so it will be neat. After I was done stitching it, I gave it some notches to make it easy to turn to the right side. Repeated the same process for the back, and then I turned to the right side. The next thing to do is to join my front and back pieces together. So I'm placing them right side facing each other. You place them right side facing each other. So you open up the facings just like I'm doing. You can go ahead and pin this down, and then you go to your machine and go sew from the facing down to the sleeve with 1/2 inch. You repeat the same process for the other shoulder and sleeve. After I was done joining, this is exactly what it looks like. The next step is to go ahead and create a casing for my elastic. So I'm just going to turn by 1/2 inch to create my elastic casing. I'll go to my machine and stitch this down. Repeat the process for the other sleeve. I'll also hem the edges of my dress. That's the bottom part of this dress. I'll be hemming it. And I'll be hemming this separately because I want to use my allowance to create channel for my drawstring. So I'll hem the bottom separately, just like you see me doing. After I was done creating the casing, next thing is to get my elastic and insert it into the casing. I'll go ahead and use about 8 inches of elastic. Now to insert this, you'll be needing a safety pin. So you put a safety pin on the edge of the elastic and then use it to pass it through to the end of the sleeve, just like you see me doing. After getting to the end, you go to your machine and stitch. When I was done, this is exactly what it looks like for both sleeves. The next step is to join the sides together. So you're just going to place them like so. You can go ahead to pin this down so it will be easy for you to work with. I'll be stitching with an allowance of 1.25 for my drawstrings later. So after I was done, this is exactly what it looks like. The next step is to get my drawstrings. For this, I'll be using a black bias. You can also use your fabric, cut it 1 inch and then turn it by half, making it 1/2 inch. Now to create a casing for the drawstring, I'll be turning this fabric to the back. And you'll be measuring where you want your drawstring to start from. I think I used about 18 inches for mine. So measure where you want your drawstrings to start from. And then you give it a little notch. And then you fold by 0.5 inch and further fold by 0.75, just like you see me doing. Now to make this easier, you can decide to open up the allowance just like you see me do and iron it thoroughly so it will be easy for you to make your drawstring casing. After ironing, you fold one side by 0.5 inch and further fold by 0.75. You repeat the same process on both sides of the allowance just like you see me do. After I was done, the next step is to insert your drawstring. I'll be inserting it the same way I inserted my elastic for the elastic casing. Use a safety pin to push it inside until you get to the end of where you have stitched. After that, you lock it up. And you lock this up by stitching and back stitching on your machine. After I was done, this is exactly how it came out. This is one way to wear this dress, dragging the strings up. You can also go ahead to bring it down, so it's just going to look like a free dress, your choice. So this is the end of this tutorial. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll be notified whenever I make a new post. Thank you.